What is going on, guys? Digital Gaming with my review of Tokyo Ravens episode 3. And I just gotta say, this episode was freaking amazing. I loved it. So our episode starts off with Natsume and Harutora throwing this beautiful pure white horse. And it was just gorgeous. It was majestic as hell. I definitely liked that. And they were heading to the altar to stop that girl from, bringing back her brother. Because apparently nobody else can really do this, but I will say this, like in the episode, this girl made a point, like, why is it fair that they can do it but somebody like her can't? Like I understand that, like, Harutora and Natsume's family, like, they are they have done any kind of like magic before, so I get that, but it does seem kind of like hypocritical that they can do it and no one else can. But at least in the episode, I guess we see why nobody else, should be doing this. But while they were going there to stop her, she still had, that armored juggernaut with her, and it made the powerful spiderweb barrier. Because we saw when it got close to it, it just bounced them off, and it was like nothing that they would do, would destroy it at first. So then we have like this juggernaut trying to attack him, and Harutora pulls out this sword, and I thought that like maybe we're gonna see like some master swordsmanship, but that right there wasn't the case. But I have a feeling that later on he's gonna master this sword. But when that juggernaut does attack them, it makes like some powerful barrier, which does damage to the juggernaut. But it also, I think it also hurt the sword, because I think at one point Harutora told Natsume that the sword took some damage, and she got a little worried there. But we see that they have to deal not only with the juggernaut down here, because that girl also like summoned a sword as well. So they had two enemies to deal with. So at one point when a sword was attacking them in the air, Harutora actually, fell off the horse, and I was kind of worried there about what was going to happen. But then Natsume actually surprised me when she called out Hokuto, because I thought that the girl was going to come in there and save him. But it wasn't the case, because we just saw this dragon that I've been curious about since the opening, because I know I see it in there, every time. So I was definitely wondering when was that dragon going to come into place, and I'm glad that it was in this episode. So this dragon is named Hokuto, and we learned that it's a girl. But I'm gonna get into what I thought about this, later on in this review. But when Harutora, gets on this dragon, I definitely thought that that they're gonna like work together or something. But Natsume can't control it too well. But the dragon does listen, because Asura attacks it, and we just see like an awesome battle between them. And then when Natsume drops off Harutora, and she like released that sword, so it becoming in true form, it did reminded me of a Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts 2 that you get from Auron, in Hercules world. It definitely like reminded me of that, so I did like that sword a lot. And we see that Harutora can't control that sword power too well, because when he goes to attack enemies, like this energy wave, and it's kind of like pushing him back, but it still hits the juggernaut, and it definitely it did damage, because it stopped it in its track, and we saw like smoke coming off of it. And when he exposed his core, I definitely like saw the pain in his eye, because he was thinking about Hokuto. But when Natsume had to choice the talisman with her bow and arrow, I definitely thought that right there was going to keep it down. I was not expecting it to get back up so quickly, because they were charging toward them. But Hokuto, the dragon, actually got in its way, because it easily, defeated Asura. Like, in fact, it finally bit down and just broke it into pieces. So now that that dragon, was dealing with the juggernaut, they can finally go to the altar. But it definitely wasn't that easy, because she had all these talismans that were like covered in her blood onto them, and I guess it like made it super heavy so that they couldn't get up. But then she finally does the ritual to bring back her brother, but it definitely doesn't go like how she planned, because her brother does come back, but we see like some kind of black ooze coming from the sky, and Natsume confirmed that right there definitely was not a god. So who knows what that was? Like definitely this ritual did not go how they had planned. But then I'm wondering, like, what was that had came down and, you know, took over her brother? Because even though he had recognized her, he was still possessed and he started choking her to death. And I did agree with Harutora saying that her dying right there, you know, by her brother's hand, is definitely, you know, what she deserved. But then I started to feel bad for her, and we just saw the willpower of Harutora. How he just got up, forced those talismans off of her, and then, you know, he also got some Natsume so she could get up and do her thing. But then we see that this sword, it was not strong enough to destroy the spirit that was taking over her brother. So I was wondering, like, that thing that, you know, he went through it, how come that right there was like strong enough to do something when the sword wasn't? Like, like how come that thing was so powerful? But then Natsume, she actually used some spell to send this spirit back, I guess, or maybe it was to protect him. I'm not really sure like what that chain of the element spell like exactly did, but apparently if you look up into that vortex, you would like lose your soul as well. So her brother has gone back, or whoever it was that was in the body, he's gone now. And then we see his sister, that girl, you know, she's kind of like, she has now officially lost everything because her plan failed. So she told Harutora, you know, to kill her, but he wasn't going to do that, you know, just yet, because he actually said that she should grieve over her brother first, and that's when she breaks down and starts crying, and that right there is when I really felt bad for her. But I am wondering, like, is she still, you know, gonna try again, or maybe she's gonna give up for now and maybe she'll turn herself in, because I definitely don't think Harutora is gonna kill her. So now, you know, it's the next day, and Harutora has told Toji that he's going to Tokyo, because there is this prep school that Natsume is making him enroll into. And then when he does go to Tokyo, Toji is actually there as well. And that's when the episode reveals something like very important, because we see that they have this tradition where the head of the family has to pretend to be a man. And not only that, we actually learn that the real Hokuto is actually Natsume, because she's a familiar. And when Harutora had pulled out, you know, her talisman, Natsume told him that the spirit has left, but because she was a familiar, she was being controlled anyway, and that it was her master that Harutora had like really fell for, which we know now is like Natsume. And that right there was like a really cute ending. I will say that, because Toji was apparently involved in some spiritual disaster, and he's now a spirit seer. So he definitely knew he knew the difference between a familiar and a human. So he definitely knew about Hokuto from the beginning, and he knows that Natsume is the one that was controlling him. And even though Natsume was like giving away so many times with all these hints, Harutora still couldn't, like, you know, see that it was her. But I think at the end, when he saw that ribbon in her hair, that maybe that's when he finally realized that it's her. But being that it's Harutora, I kind of doubt that. But you never know. Like, maybe he will realize that his love for Hokuto is really his love for Natsume. But like I said, the episode, it was pretty freaking good. I definitely liked it a lot. I loved the fighting and I loved the end. It was amazing. But as always, guys, don't forget to like the video, because that really helps me out. And don't forget to subscribe as well. But as always, you guys take it easy. And I will see you all next time.